you. She took a deep breath, let it out slowly. I want to earn your trust again, she said. Not for the house, not for the past, just because I don't want to lose the only parent who ever showed up. My throat tightened. I sipped my coffee to steady it. Then keep showing up, I said. That's all I ask. We didn't solve everything over lunch, but we didn't need to. Sometimes healing doesn't come with fanfare. No grand declarations, no climactic scenes. Sometimes it comes with a turkey club black coffee and a willingness to sit across the table from someone who once broke your heart and realize they're trying to put the pieces back with their own two hands. Some evenings I sit out on the back porch with a notebook and pretend I'm writing letters to Lillian. It started out as a way to cope something the grief counselor once suggested. Talk to her, she said, the way you used to. So I did. Not out loud, just ink on paper. Tonight the lake is quiet, painted in gold and silver by the setting sun. The wind brushes gently through the pines, and the only sound is the occasional creak of the rocking chair beneath me. I open the notebook to a fresh page and begin. Dear Lillian. It's been almost a year now since I left that house on Renfield Road. You'd be proud of me. I didn't go out shouting or smashing dishes like I might have in my younger days. I packed a bag, closed the door, and walked away. Because I had to. Not because I stopped loving Amanda, but because I finally started loving myself enough to stop being a doormat. You used to tell me that dignity doesn't come from titles or money or big gestures. It comes from the quiet decision to live in truth, even if it's lonely. You were right. Amanda and I had lunch today, at Miller's Cafe. You remember that place, the one with the cracked leather booths and the banana cream pie you always said tasted like heartbreak? She's different now. Not completely, but enough. There's a steadiness in her I hadn't seen in years, like someone finally looking in the mirror and choosing to see what's really there, not just what they were told to be. She didn't ask for anything, Lil. No favors, no apologies from me. Just time. And for the first time in a long while, I think, I want to give it. The house is gone now, well, not gone, but not mine anymore. 3 veteran families live there now, kids in the yard, flags on the porch, laughter echoing through hallways that used to feel like a prison. It doesn't ache like I thought it would. In fact, it feels like peace, like that old place finally found its voice again, just not one that belonged to me. And that's okay. Some things we build aren't meant to last forever. Some are meant to outgrow us. You always believed in second chances, in letting people fail and rise. I struggled with that, especially when Amanda stood by him, when she handed me those cruel words. Then maybe you should leave like they didn't mean anything. But here's the thing, Lil. She's trying. She spoke in front of the whole church, told the truth, risked the shame. That matters. It doesn't erase everything, but it lays a foundation. And I'd rather build something new on truth than keep repainting the rot. Do I miss you every single day? Sometimes I still reach across the bed in the middle of the night, expecting to find your hand, and when it's not there, I just breathe slow, let the ache pass, and say your name under my breath. But here's the funny part, darling. In all the solitude, I've found something unexpected. Not just survival, but clarity, stillness, joy even. I garden a little, I read too much, I talk to neighbors who stop by with fresh bread or extra tomatoes, and every now and then I hear myself laugh and realize I mean it. I'm not surviving anymore, Lil, I'm living. The sun's just about dipped below the ridge now. The shadows stretch long across the dock, and the notebook page flutters in the breeze like it knows I'm almost done. There's so much more I could say, but for now, I'll leave you with this thank you. For loving me in a way that taught me how to love myself long after you were gone. For leaving behind more than recipes and old sweaters, for leaving behind strength I didn't know I'd need one day. And for reminding me in your quiet way that it's never too late. Never too late to begin again. Never too late to be whole. I heard the tires on gravel before I saw her. Cabin driveways aren't built for surprises. Every car crunches the same way, slow, hesitant, like it's still deciding whether to turn back. But I stayed seated on the porch mug and hand dog-eared book resting on my knee. Then she stepped out of the car holding a cardboard drink tray. 2 coffees. No purse, no flowers. Just her. She walked up the steps like she'd been here before. Hi, Dad. Afternoon. I brought you something. She handed over the cup with a cautious smile. Still take it black, you remembered. She took the chair across from mine, Lillian's old seat. Didn't ask if she could. Just sat, as if that was the most natural thing in the world. For a while we just drank. No small talk, no icebreakers, just the sound of wind in the trees and the distant call of a mourning dove. I thought about calling first, she said eventually. But you didn't. No, she admitted. I figured if I gave myself the option to back out, I would. I nodded. Well, here you are. She looked around. This place is quiet. That's the point. She sipped her coffee and glanced at the lake. Did you build that dock yourself? Rebuilt it, I said. Storm took half of it last spring. Took me 3 weekends and a bruised hip. She smiled. Bet it was worth it. Most things are if you do them for the right reasons. Another silence passed, but this one didn't feel heavy. It felt restful. I was thinking Amanda said about all those mornings growing up when you'd wake me for school with a mug in one hand and a slice of toast in the other. Your hair looked like a bird's nest most days. She laughed, really laughed. It still does. I smiled, surprised at how easy it was to meet her eyes now. No defenses, no accusations, just her. I never said thank you for those mornings, she said, for making sure I had shoes that fit, for sitting in the bleachers even when I struck out every single game. You're welcome, I said. She looked down. You did so much, and I didn't see it. Not until too late. It's not too late, I replied. She raised her eyes. You still believe that I have to? I said, because if it was too late, we wouldn't be sitting here drinking lukewarm gas station coffee on a Wednesday afternoon. She smiled again, smaller this time, but steadier. I'm not asking for things to go back, she said. I don't want to pretend none of it happened. Good, I said, because it did happen. But so did this. Right now. She took a deep breath. I don't know who I am without him yet. That's okay, I said. You don't need to know today. You just need to want to find out. She nodded slowly. Can I come back sometime? Door's not locked, I said. You knock, I answer. That's how it works now. And if I mess up again, you will, I said plainly. We all do. But we learn faster each time. We sat until the sun dipped low, casting long shadows across the porch. She didn't overstay, didn't ask for anything. When she stood to leave, she reached out not for a hug, not for drama, but for my empty coffee cup. I'll toss it on my way out, she said. I watched her walk back to the car, cup in hand, braid swinging slightly behind her like it used to when she was 5. No grand gesture, no final word, just a small offering of service, of recognition of care. And somehow that mattered more than any apology ever could. After she drove off, I sat for a long while with my hands folded in my lap. The dock creaked, the breeze turned cooler, and I thought, this is how love comes back sometimes. Not with fireworks, not with roses, but with 2 cups of coffee and a seat left open just in case. It came on a Tuesday, tucked between the water bill and a seed catalog I hadn't subscribed to in years. No return address, just my name written in blocky, uneven handwriting. I knew that handwriting. Even after all these years, something in me recognized it. I brought it inside, sat at the kitchen table, and opened it with careful fingers. The envelope was wrinkled as if it had been carried in a backpack too long. Inside was a single folded sheet of lined notebook paper. At the top, in big blue pen, it read, Hi, Granddad. I stared at those 2 words for a long while. Granddad. Not Walter, not Mr. Hargrove, but the name only one little boy had ever used for me every morning over breakfast holding his plastic dinosaur while eating oatmeal with too much sugar. My hands trembled a little as I kept reading. I know Mom probably doesn't know I'm writing this. I used the return address from one of your old birthday cards. I wasn't sure it would even get there. I just wanted to say I'm sorry. Not because anyone told me to, but because I miss you. And I remember more than people think. I remember how you used to pick me up from school when it rained. How you taught me how to fix the chain on my bike. How you always had exactly 2 cookies waiting when I got home, never more, never less. You said consistency is kindness. I didn't understand that until now. Things at home were weird after you left. Mom was really quiet. Derek, well, he wasn't around much. I guess I started realizing that not all grown-ups keep their promises, but you always did. I started doing better in school recently. History's my favorite, especially the parts about people who stand up even when no one else does. I thought you should know that. Also, I still have the pocket knife you gave me for my 10th birthday. I don't take it to school or anything, but sometimes when things feel hard, I take it out and hold it. It makes me feel steady. I think that's the word. Steady. I hope you're okay. Mom says she saw you recently. She didn't say much else, but she smiled when she said it, so I think that means something good. Anyway, I just wanted to say thank you for everything. For the kind of love that doesn't quit even when people don't notice it right away. Love, Charlie. I set the letter down and leaned back in my chair. Let the quiet settle around me. That boy had always had more depth than people gave him credit for, and now apparently more courage, too. I looked toward the bookshelf by the fireplace. The photo of him at 7 missing his 2 front teeth, proudly holding a trout half his size, still stood between a carved wooden duck and a photo of Lillian in her garden hat. I never took it down, even when I wanted to forget, even when it hurt to remember. That night I wrote him back, not through Amanda, not through legal mail, just an envelope addressed to Charlie Hargrove with a return stamp and a handwritten note. Hey, bud, you always had good timing. The porch is still here. The lake's still steady. And so am I. Come visit when you're ready. We'll go fishing. Bring your own cookies. I'm on a diet. Love, Granddad. Then I sealed it, stamped it, and dropped it in the mailbox with the flag up like a beacon. And for the first time in years, I felt a kind of wholeness that didn't ask permission to exist. Not because everything was fixed, not because I'd been forgiven, but because love, when planted with care, has a way of finding its way back home. Charlie showed up on a Saturday just after noon. I heard the crunch of his bicycle tires before I saw him. He'd pedaled all the way from town, backpack bouncing on his shoulders, cheeks flushed from wind and maybe a little anticipation. He was taller now, voice deeper, but still wore that same ball cap backward like he did when he was 10 and thought it made him look cool but wise. "You made good time," I said, stepping off the porch. He grinned a little out of breath. Didn't want to be late. I offered him a glass of lemonade. He downed it in 3 gulps. Then without ceremony, he said, "Can we fish, as long as you don't out-catch me?" Challenge accepted. We headed down to the dock poles in hand, a small tackle box rattling with old lures between us. The lake was glassy, with a few lazy ripples where fish rose to tease us. The trees around us were painted in the colors only October could pull off: burnt orange, deep red, and gold so bright it nearly hummed. Charlie baited his hook without instruction, sat beside me without fidgeting. He'd grown, not just taller, wider in the soul. We cast our lines and let the quiet settle. I've always believed that fishing isn't about catching anything, it's about permission. Permission to be quiet, permission to not perform, permission to just be. And today that permission stretched wide between us. After a while, Charlie spoke. "You remember that summer when we couldn't catch anything for like 3 weeks, I do? You blamed it on the fish being on vacation." He chuckled. "Still sounds logical. Logical enough, I agreed." He leaned back on his elbows, looking out over the water. "I didn't come to say sorry," he said. "Not because I'm not sorry, just I didn't want today to be about that. I understand. I came because I missed you," he said simply, "and because I wanted to remember what it feels like to be near someone who didn't expect me to be anything but myself." That hit me deeper than any apology could have. "Charlie," I said, "you were never the one I was angry at." I know he nodded. "But sometimes I was angry too. That you left. That no one explained anything. That the house got quiet and Mom got weird and Derek got gone." I nodded. "You had a right to all those feelings. I didn't know what to do with them," he said, "so I shoved them down. Drew comics, wrote bad poetry, played drums in my closet with pencils." "Sounds healthy enough," I said. He laughed. "Now I know feelings don't disappear just because you don't talk about them. They just hide under the bed until they grow teeth." "That they do," I said. We sat a while longer, caught 2 small bass, released both. Charlie opened a bag of sunflower seeds and offered me some. I declined. He kept munching spitting shells into the water with the ease of someone who'd had too many long afternoons and not enough people to talk to. Finally, he looked at me and asked, "Do you think people can really change?" I took a breath. "Yes," I said, "but not overnight, and not to become someone else. Just to become more of who they were always meant to be." He nodded like he was storing that away for later. When the sun began to drop behind the trees, we packed up our gear. At the top of the hill near the cabin, Charlie paused and looked back over the lake. "You ever get lonely out here?" "Sometimes," I said honestly, "but not the kind of lonely that hurts. More like, space. A kind of quiet that lets things grow again." He turned to me. "I think I'd like to come back. The porch will be here," I said. "And there's always bait in the shed." That night after he'd gone, I sat with a blanket over my knees and a cup of warm tea. The dock was empty again, but it didn't feel empty. It felt held, anchored, like something that had once drifted was now slowly finding its way home. And in the silence, I whispered a thank you to the stars. Not just for Charlie, but for the quiet between us that said everything words never could. I didn't expect them to come back. But early one afternoon in late November, I got a call. "It's Amanda," she said. "Charlie and we're near town. Thought maybe we could swing by the old place." You free I was. More curious than anything else. We met in front of the Renfield Renewal Home. The old house looked different now. Not just in paint or porch rails, but in spirit. It breathed differently, lived differently. Where there was once silence and tension, now there were wind chimes, flower boxes, and a welcome mat that actually meant what it said. 3 people stood outside raking leaves. One waved. Amanda waved back. Charlie looked up at the shutters, the roofline, the second-floor window that used to be his bedroom. He was taller than the front steps now. That alone made my heart ache. "We used to sit out here every 4th of July, Amanda said quietly. "Hot dogs and sparklers and Mom's potato salad. You hated the onions in it," I said. "I always picked them out." We laughed softly. "I used to think this house was permanent," she added. "Like no matter what happened in our lives, it would just hold." "But houses don't hold people," I said. "People hold people." She looked over at me. I didn't understand that until I let it all go.